So I do cold calling, I do customer service, I do all things related to your clients. And one of the things that I like to do, one of my favorite things to do, is actually take calls that people are trying to sell me something. So it's a marketing call from somewhere, someone, anywhere. And so my latest sales call was not too long ago, and I answered the phone. Hello, this is Danielle. That's how I always answer my phone. And the response on the other line was, yeah, can I talk to the owner? And I said, you want to talk to the owner? And they said, yes. I said, the owner of what? Well, I just want to talk to the owner. I said, the owner of what? See, in my head, I'm like, the owner of my house, the owner of my car, the owner of a business, the owner of which business? Like, what do you want from me? These are the thoughts that are going through my head. And he's like, the owner of relationship. And I was just flabbergasted by the way he was talking to me. So I'm like, okay, may I ask who's calling? And I'm not going to say who it was because I'm not going to. But he says, well, I'm calling because I want to talk to the owner. I said, okay, so who is this? He then explains to me who he was. And basically he was trying to sell me, it was advertising, trying to sell me advertising. Great. I know all about advertising. And so he's going through and he's explaining it to me. He's rushing through his script. Obviously he's nervous at this point. And at the end of the day, what he was offering me wasn't for my business. And that's okay, because sometimes what someone is offering you isn't going to be for your business. And so I did tell him, I said, hey, what you're offering actually doesn't, I don't work directly with the consumer. I'm a B2B. So what you're offering isn't going to work with my company. He said, okay. And I said, well, you have a nice day. And we hung up. Now, I'm always polite with cold callers because I know the job is hard and nobody wants to do it. But what I could tell was that it was an outsourced. I could tell because of all the phone calls in the background. You could hear the phones ringing in the background. You could hear the other people speaking in the background. Also, I think that had it have been his own business or he was working directly with the employer, that he probably would have had a better attitude because it would have directly affected him. Now, I know a lot of people go out there and they'll order, cold calling. They'll go to a cold calling business. They'll go through AI. They'll go overseas. And I understand, right? We're all trying to save money. We're all trying to do the best thing that we can for our business at that time. And a lot of times when you're making phone calls and cold calls and you're getting leads, you're really just slushing through, like, what are the good calls and what aren't the good calls, and it takes time. And so generating a good lead list. But that phone call was one of the exact reasons why it's important that you not only have the person that is calling for you be exactly who you need, right? They're representing you properly, that they're creating strong relationships. And then on top of that, I think actually most important that they sound like they care about the job and that they're not rude and that they're trained properly. And so it's important that training comes in. So whether that be customer service, which he didn't have great customer service skills, or being able to have a conversation, the sales call was also not great. You want to make sure you're hiring the right person, the right team, make sure it makes sense for you. And yeah, it was an interesting phone call. So anyways, just a little tip out there. If you ever need any help with training your people, making sure they're doing the job right, so that way you can build strong relationships, give me a call. Have a good one. Danielle with Relationshift.